Good morning, Racer H2O, and welcome to Reno, Oklahoma, the final race of the 2021 season for the Southern Drag Boat Association. We're going to crown Hunters Showdown champions, and we are going to crown 2021 champions here come tomorrow. We got a couple of qualifying passes today. Going to start eliminations in a couple of our categories, but for now, it is time for opening ceremonies. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please remove your hats as Brother Mike Griffith from Trinity Racing Ministries leads us in our invocation.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for a beautiful morning. Come out, get to play with our drag boats. This is the day you have made, Lord, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Father, we thank you for the city of El Reno, the Lake El Reno staff, and everybody affiliated with the SDBA. Comes out here, pours their heart in it, makes this thing possible. Lord, you know where our military is this morning. You know those situations. We ask that you intervene on our behalf. Watch over them, keep them safe. It's because of them we're free and we get to come out here and do what we get to do. Lord, keep them out of harm's way. Father, for our first responder and our awesome SDBA rescue team, we lift them up this morning, Lord, knowing that you're watching over them while they're out there on that water watching over us. Father, we thank you for all our vendors and sponsors, and that's why we can do what we're about to do now, go racing. Lord, I have those three requests. I'm looking for that loud day. I'm looking for that fast day. But above all, Father, I'm looking for that safe day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And now, if you haven't already done so, please stand and remove your hats as Miss Marcella Hodges leads us in our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Miss Marcella, and ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go drag boat racing. As soon as we get some boats loaded up on the hold rope, it will be showtime. All right, listen up. I need personal watercraft. Personal watercraft needs to the in-ramp, please. Personal watercraft needs to the in-ramp. Stock eliminator. Be on standby. Modified eliminator. Be getting them warmed up. Personal watercraft, I need you to the in-ramp, please. Adrian Huff, will you come up to the timing tower, please? Adrian Huff to the timing tower.
No, it's this HDMI. It's this wonky little. Okay, let me set it for the break, but.
Once again, personal watercraft, you need to be headed to the end ramp, please. Personal watercraft, you need to be headed to the end ramp. Stock eliminator, be on standby. Modified eliminator, be warming them up. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, listen up. I need stock eliminator. Stock eliminator. Needs to the in-ramp, please. Stock eliminator needs to the in-ramp. Modified eliminator, be on standby. Top eliminator, be warming them up.
First batch. Thank you. Down the clock.
All right, here comes our first personal watercraft. This is session number 3 of qualifying. This is Jordan Kluver. Hold My Rocket, the name of the jet ski. First time drag boat racing. Usually does a little bit of stuff on the roundy round, get a little dirty. Now playing in the water. I mean, what do you do whenever you need to wash the dirt off? You go play in the water, right? Well, this is what Jordan's doing here this weekend. Your current number 5 qualifier. Dialed in 1160. First time out this morning. Remember, it's going to be left lane singles till about 8:30 in the morning. How about that? Breaking it out by just 16 thousandths. 1158 with a 3 on the 1160 at 64 miles an hour. Not going to improve on the number 5 qualifying spot with a breakout. But pretty close for the first run of a brand new day. Everybody's kind of guessing and going back on what their hot rods did yesterday at about this time. Current number 1 qualifier right now is Rathan Broadway with an 1132 on an 1130. Got to bring up Henry Rogers. Henry driving for Steve Pruitt in the Hold My Beer and Watch This team. Also Swine Pipeline Services, Big Dog Consulting Services, and Swan Transportation. Henry's going to be dialed in 11 flat. He was your number 1 qualifier in Marble Falls at our last event. Currently sitting number 6 right now on the sheet. How about an 1110 with a 0 on the 11 flat dial? That's going to move him up 2 positions to the number 4 spot, knocking Angeli down to 5th and Jordan Kluver down to 6th. Henry Rogers improves on a couple of positions to the number 4 spot, running a 10th off the dial at 68 miles an hour. And that'll bring up your current number 1 qualifier, Rathan Broadway, driving the Golden Child. Over in the Parker Brothers Roofing, left-hand side. He'll be down to 1110. Which coincidentally is what Henry Rogers just ran. So if that's any indication, hopefully Rathan can pull it off. He's already the number 1 qualifier, so he can improve, but he can certainly boost the morale a little bit, even more than what it already is. 10 seconds left on the countdown. Everybody a little late on the tree so far here today. How about an 11:56.0 at 65.74 miles an hour? Rathan Broadway did not improve at all on his number 1 qualifying spot, running a pretty good bit off the dial. It's one of those deals, like I said a while ago, first time on the water in a brand new day, brand new atmospheric conditions. Sometimes you just got to take a shot in the dark and hope that it sticks. And that'll bring up Lynn Blackburn, doing time 2, the name of her jet ski. She's out in 10:35, racing for Docks and Boats Rescue, Medina Lake, Bandera Family Dentistry, and S&E Construction. Currently sitting number 3. Went 10:38 on her best lap from qualifying yesterday. Your winner at our last race in Marble Falls, Texas, taking out the points leader, Jody Smith, in the final round there. Fastest jet ski and personal watercraft. I think it's faster than some stock eliminator boats. She goes 1040 with a 9 on the 1035 at 69.47 miles an hour, and that'll put her in the number 2 qualifying spot right behind Wraith Broadway. So she improves a couple of positions. We need Brody Helms trailer back to the in-ramp, please. Brody Helms trailer back to the in-ramp. We need Brody Helms trailer back to the in-ramp, please. Here comes Jacob Nodler, driving long time coming. He finally wrestled the keys away from neighbor John, got back on his jet ski. He said, you know what, the bad thing is, he said, I bought the thing and he still kicked me out of my own ride. He's driving for his mom and dad, his Oma and Opa, Chris Clay, Gary Payne, Mike Sorensen, Carl Nichols, and thanks to Mike Griffith of Trinity Racing Ministries, RESP, and Rob Berkland. His dad, neighbor John, got the jet ski, qualified to the number 3 spot yesterday. He's down 1270 today. How about Jacob Dollar, a 001 reaction time? Wow. First hit of the weekend for Jacob Dollar. He goes 001 on the tree and 12:89.4 at 57 miles an hour. Not a better run than what neighbor John had yesterday, but a 001 reaction time for Jacob Nodler. I don't know what y'all put in his Cheerios this morning, but I think he needs a double shot. No, a double shot might be too much. He'll go red then. Just same shot tomorrow is what you put in it today. That's pretty good for Jacob Nodler. Here comes Angelique Shaw. Being Bad, the name of her jet ski. From Mom and Dad, the Bad Company race team. Papa, the Sherwoods, Dinah Notes, Luke's Paving, Derek and Melanie Crownover. Sarah Shaw, where you at this morning? Yep, she's still asleep. The crew's, yeah, the crew's not awake. Sam's out there somewhere, I know that. She's down 13:30, sitting in the number 5 spot right now. And Angelique 13:27 with an 8, 56 miles an hour. Broke out by just about 21 thousandths of a second. She will remain in the number 5 qualifying spot. All right, and that'll bring up Jake Stevenson, one half of that Randy Ball Racing personal watercraft team. He's currently sitting numbers 1 and 2 in the points right now. Jake driving the Lil Okie. He's on track as it sits in the points right now to finish one position higher than he has the past 2 years. He's currently number 7, dialed in 13:58. To the top end, he goes at 13:62 with an 8 at 53 miles an hour, and that will knock him all the way up to the number 2 qualifying spot. So Jake goes from 7th to 2, and his teammate, the personal watercraft champion this year, coming up now, is sitting in the number 8 spot, only above Brody Helm, who has not made a pass all weekend. But Jody has been struggling. That jet ski of hers has just been picking up and going faster every lap, and she cannot figure out why. The little maniac will be over here in the Parker Brothers Roofing, left-hand side out of Wiley, Texas for WCR Construction, Randy Ball Racing, Trinity Racing Ministries, RESP, Papa Maniac Mike or Mama Stacy, and the SDBA. She's down in 13:10. And Jody goes 13:19 with a 0 at 55 miles an hour. We'll bring her up 3 positions to the number 5 qualifying spot with 1 session left to go in personal watercraft. And I do believe that's going to bring up Henry Bainey on the hold rope now. He blames it on Tim Rester. I don't know if I really believe him or not, because Hank says that he was on the couch taking a nap when they warmed the boat up. So Tim's the one that broke it because he was the one that warmed it up. So they got everything fixed now, or at least they think they do. They will not get a time here, but they will at least get to see if the thing has oil pressure and if it'll go down the lake. All right, listen up. Final call, stock eliminator. Final call, stock eliminator. I need modified eliminator. Modified to the end ramp, please. Modified eliminator to the ramp. Top eliminator, be on standby. Pro eliminator, get them warmed up. Modified eliminator to the end ramp, please. Pro eliminator, be warming them up. Top eliminator, be on standby. All right, so first pair stock eliminator. It's going to be Glenn Cashins driving Aqua Patina over in the Parker Brothers Roofing, left-hand side. Thanks to Mom, Jen, and Ronnie. Glenn's Mobile Tire and Auto, Gravel Guns, Splash Boat Rentals in Kingsland, Flagship Towing, JBS Underground, and Hill Country Hydraulics. He's going to be down $14.95, and Ashley Winslet will be over in the Performance HVAC, right-hand side out of Dallas, Texas, driving the Vanishing Breed. For Fastline Fabrication, special thanks to Mom and Dad, Brian and Chantel, RESP and Trinity Racing Ministries. She's going to be down 9 flat. She's currently sitting number 3 right now at 9:06. Glenn sitting number 14 with nothing but breakouts from yesterday. Talked to him yesterday evening. He said, I never thought the boat would actually run 14-something. And now they're down $14.95. Hoping to get that thing qualified a little bit higher than 14th on the list. Ashley went 9:06 yesterday on that 9 flat for her best 3 qualifying spot. All right, so the countdown clock starts. All right, listen up, tow drivers. You guys cannot stop on the road on the way to the out ramp. Tow drivers, continue moving, please. You're holding up traffic. Things are getting backed up at the out ramp. So tow drivers, continue moving all the way to the out ramp, please. As they cross the finish line, 15:23, 50 miles an hour for Glenn Cashins. He goes all the way up to the number 6 qualifying spot from 14th. And Ashley Winslet goes 9:24.2, 75.36 miles per hour. Ashley was 064 red. Glenn turned it a whole bunch red. Doesn't matter here in qualifying. Does not affect their elapsed time or qualifying position. Ashley Winslet will not move up. She will stay in the number 3 spot with her 9:06 from yesterday. But Glenn Cashins, a huge improvement all the way up from 14th to 6th place for Glenn. Here comes Kevin Hibden. Hibden driving Trump money over here in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane for Bud Long Motorsports, Albuquerque Plumbing, Nelson Speed and Marine, and Ronnie Blackstock driving Plum Crazy for Al Kirshner. Will be in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. Ronnie dialed in at 9 flat. He's currently your number 2 qualifier, and Kevin Hibden, your number 5 qualifier. Both of them dialed in 9.00. Kevin Hibden, 9:33.5, 84.80 miles an hour. No improvement for him. Ronnie Blackstock, 9:04.3, 86.95 miles an hour. No improvement in position for him either. Ronnie Blackstock had a 0.56 reaction time, though. Kevin Hibden, 188 on the tree. Kevin will stay number 5. And Rodney Blackstock will stay number 2 in qualifying in stock eliminator. So the plan today, to run through it one more time, is to get 2 qualifying sessions for everyone. And then more than likely, we're going to do a round of eliminations for modified eliminator, quick eliminator, and pro modified. That's the plan for right now, I do believe. Next pair, Kay Janisek, James Norman. Kay Janisek driving an all or nothing for JP&E, Kirkland Marine, DBR, RFC, David Kirkland Racing. Special thanks to Philip Kirkland. Will be in the Parker Brothers Roofing, left-hand side. Kay dialed in 9 flat, and James Norman. The boat he calls Go Jassy will be in the Performance HVAC right-hand side for Steve Dollins Racing. A1 Outboard, Masters Construction, Taylor's Customs, and a Cut Above Lawn Care. He'll be down in 9 flat as well. All right, so we are given the sign to fire them up. Go yellow. Kay Janisek, left-hand side. James Norman in the right. Huge thank you to our lane sponsors here this weekend in El Reno. A couple of local companies stepping up big time. Kevin Helm with Performance HVAC, right-hand lane sponsor. And, of course, the Parker Brothers with Parker Brothers Roofing, stepping up to sponsor our left-hand lane here in El Reno. Kay Janisek, 906 with a 7 at 84.89 miles an hour. He will stay in the number 1 qualifying spot from yesterday. James Norman, 907.2, 95.04 miles an hour, and he will go to number 4 on the sheet. James, I don't believe, made any passes yesterday. But James Norman now goes 907.2 at 95.04 miles an hour for the number 4 spot. While it's quiet, while we get the next pair pulled to the hold rope, want to say a huge happy birthday to a couple of awesome guys. First of all, Sid Anderson, wherever you are over there, brother, happy birthday to you, Sid. And also Mr. Dave Lipinski. Happy birthday, Mr. Dave. Hope you enjoy your 55th birthday. I hope that got him a little chuckle at least. Happy birthday to Dave Lipinski and to Sid Anderson. Glad you guys are spending your birthdays here in El Reno, Oklahoma with us. You could be at any casino in the state of Oklahoma, but you're here, so thank you so much. Our next pair getting staged up. They're ready to go on the hold rope. It's going to be Seth Walls and Patrick Peterson. Seth Walls driving solely Tober for Fastline Fabrications, FBC Services, Walls Tractor Repair, Wayman Pitchford Incorporated, Schaefer Oils, Palmetto Whiskey, Buddy E.S. Johnson, William Pascal and Sons Fine Woodworking, Extreme Barbecue, Joe Yarborough, Cookers for Christ, and the crew of Steve, Michelle, Jason, Shanna, Tag, Bruce, Sella, Shane, and Joe. And Patrick Peterson driving El Diablo in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane for Cole Insurance Agency, Denning Auto Parts. Both of them going to be dialed in 9 flat. Seth currently sitting number 11 with a 990 pass. Patrick 5th with a 918. Seth Walls 9:33.2 at 86.57 miles an hour. He goes up to the number 8 qualifying spot. Patrick goes 9:10.1, 83.36 miles an hour. Not going to improve. He will stay in the number 5 spot. All right, racers, don't forget the changes that were made to the way that you're pulling into the in-ramp and leaving the out-ramp. Please go around registration on your way to the in-ramp and go take the back road around the RV park to go back to the pits whenever you leave the out-ramp, please. Please remember that. Keep that in your mind so we don't have a big old traffic jam headed to the in-ramp or coming back from the out-ramp. Next pair up, Zachary Watson making his first pass of the weekend. Zachary driving Chicks Dig It for David Carroll Racing, T-shirts and more. Alfredo's Mexican Restaurant, TNT Construction. Special thanks to Rhonda and Walter Do It Again Doolin. Zachary Watson, the kid. And Brody Martin driving the Silver Bullet, Fields Automotive and Towing. Sponsors on that hot rod for Performance HVAC, the right lane. Zachary Watson, drag boat racing after playing in his football game last night. Wasn't able to be here. I'll find out if they won the game. If so, it could be a really good weekend for Zachary Watson. Zachary was dialed in 10:33. He goes 10:73. 71.47 miles an hour. He was sitting at the bottom of the sheet in 15th. He goes to 10th. Brody Martin 11:16 with a 6 on the 11:15. He will go to the number 1 qualifying spot. Brody Martin above Kay Janicek for the number 1 qualifying spot with a run that is 100th of a second. Slower than what he predicted, but it's good enough to take over the number 1 spot from Kay Janicek. Zachary Watson, first pass of the weekend, goes 0:30 red, 4/10 above the dial, but not too bad. First pass of the weekend. Final call, modified eliminator. Final call, modified top eliminator. I need you to the in-ramp. Top eliminator to the in-ramp. Pro eliminator, be on standby. Quick eliminator, get them warmed up. Once again, top eliminator to the in-ramp. Pro eliminator, be on standby. Quick eliminator, get them warmed up. Here comes a couple of those Snyder boys. Garrick Snyder driving Blackie's Magic is going to be in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand side, and Grant Snyder is going to be in the Performance HVAC right-hand side driving the Magic Man. Grant celebrated a birthday yesterday, and Garrick's going to try to, put a little bit of a damper on his birthday weekend. Garrick's dialed 960 in the left side. Grant's dialed at 942 in the right side. Both of them driving for Lilly Construction, Marley Ranch, Snyder Motorsports. And Garrick turned it red on his brother. He is not going to hear the end of that one. 985.8. 78 miles an hour for Garrick Snyder. Grant was 043 on the tree. He was ready. And how about 942 with a 2 on a 940? And Grant Snyder goes to the number 1 spot by a bunch. Grant Snyder, 942.2 on the 942 dial by 0.02 of a second. He was away from a perfect run. With an 043 reaction time, Grant Snyder is going to be deadly when it comes to eliminations tomorrow. There was nothing Garrick Snyder could do to even try to salvage that run and beat Grant Snyder. That was amazing. These guys love it. Doesn't matter. Tyler Boehm and one of the other Snyder boys had to race each other in modified eliminator yesterday during a test pass. It didn't matter. They were still wanting to rip each other's throats out. It was Gavin. I apologize. I had to think about it for a second. There's so many of them. Gavin Snyder and Tyler Boehm racing each other yesterday. But how about that run for Grant? 043 and 2 thou away from a perfect run. And J.D. Henderson fires up the driver number 4 boat. Dial 1055 for Kevin with Performance Heating and Air. Daniel and Robin with Superior Fiberglass, Honeysucker Law Firm, Parker Brothers Roofing. Tequila Porter. The band was here last night. The band Tequila Porter was here last night. Heard they had a great show. Chopper Hopper Saloon and the Pirate Mafia. J.D. Henderson sit number 13 right now. J.D. Henderson, an 0.93 reaction time, goes 10.70 with a 5 at 70.36 miles an hour. Moves himself up a couple of positions to the number 8 spot. Still about a tenth and a half off of his dial-in. A bunch of these hot rods are having to battle with the higher altitude or density altitude here. Not necessarily higher in relative altitude, but the density altitude, once you factor in the temperature and the humidity, is absolutely killing some of these guys. For example, I hear that Matt Miller had to put a little bit of laughing gas on his hot rod this morning, sadly. Gosh, he was one of the last true naturally aspirated guys left, and now he's put the nitrous on it. Traitor. Whatever it takes, my brother, whatever it takes. So our first pair of modified eliminator on the whole rope now. Melton Whittlesey driving the Little Bud for Infamous Brewing. I hear that Melton might possibly have a grudge matchup coming up a little bit later with somebody named Bill Diaz. I don't know if they've actually worked out the details on that yet or not, but that was what a little birdie told me yesterday. He'll be in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane, and Kyle Fox driving Booger Red for Mickey Harlow will be over in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane for BMT Compressors, Judy Bradshaw, Industrial Parts Service Supply, Jet Boat Bills Performance, Dead Aim Racing, and 4A Pest Control. 8 flat is the index here in Modified Eliminator. Kyle Fox was your number 1 qualifier after the first session of qualifying, but has currently been bumped down to number 6, Melton Whittlesey, and his outboard boat is sitting 4th on the sheet right now. How about Kyle Fox 009 on a tree? And Kyle goes 8.05 with a 5 at 97.79 miles an hour. He goes to the number 4 spot, knocks Melton Whittlesey down to number 5. Melton goes 8.09 with a 6 at 107.30 miles an hour. But Kyle Fox with a 009 reaction time, 8.05 with a 5 at 97 miles an hour. Kyle Fox moves up to the number 4 qualifying spot. And Josh Hansen and Tyler Bain come up now. Josh driving Stimulus Check over here in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane or the near lane for Huffman Performance, B&D Waterland. And Tyler Bain driving the Slippery Pickle over in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane for BBC Farm and Ranch, Rio Medina Truck and Auto, Trinity Racing Ministries, Custom Powder Coating. Many thanks to the awesome crew. Mama Kay, Aunt Linnell, Connie, Stephanie, Shane, Bishop Ed and Debbie, the dog Trigger, the Toho Daniel, and special thanks to God for all of his many blessings, says Tyler Bain. Tyler currently sitting number 8 with an 8.22.1. And my computer has glitched on me, so give me just 1 second. Final call, top eliminator. This is the final call for top eliminator. I need pro eliminator. Pro eliminator. I need you to the end ramp, please. Pro eliminator to the end ramp. Quick eliminator, be on standby. Pro jet, be getting them warmed up. Pro eliminator to the end ramp, please. All right, so Josh Hansen and Tyler Bain. Everything good to go now. We are yellow. And Josh Hansen, how about 8.02 with a 6, 101.64 miles an hour. He will remain your number 1 qualifier Tyler Bame goes 8:25.7 at 98.49 miles an hour with an 0:37 red reaction time. Tyler Bame will stay in the number 8 qualifying spot. So no improvement in either of those two modified eliminator hot rods. Josh Hansen stays number 1. Tyler Bame stays number 8. All right. Our final modified eliminator boat is going to be Greg Conley driving the happy hour machine for Jason Gothard this weekend. Fastline Fabrications, FPC Services, Quals Tractor Repair, Buddy E.S. Johnson, Extreme Barbecue, Wayman Pitchford Incorporated, Joe Yarborough, and the Palmetto Distillery. And Gus Hagler and his top eliminator machine called Amazing Grace for Senseless Racing. Hoss Props, special thanks to Tim Bostic. He'll be in the Performance HVAC right-hand lanes. We got a modified eliminator boat versus a top eliminator boat. Modified on an 8.0 index. Top eliminator on a 7.0 index. Well, that wasn't pretty. Something happened to Greg Conley's machine. Gus Hagler goes 8:10 with a 9 at 99 miles an hour. Greg Conley's trailer back to the end ramp, please. We need Greg Conley's trailer back to the end ramp. All right, next pair of modified eliminator, Jesse James Jr. driving the Outlaw on the left-hand side, and Andrew Decker driving in too deep in the right. Tyler, Texas versus Buckholz, Texas, right here on the hold rope in El Reno, Oklahoma. Jesse James Jr. looking to do some damage in the championship and stay out in front. And Jesse James Jr., how about an 8.07 with an 8 at 98.04 miles an hour. Jesse James not moving up to the number 1 spot. He will stay in number 2. Andrew Decker, 8.12 with an 8, 91 miles an hour. Not an improvement for him either. He will stay 6th with his 8:08 from yesterday. Next pair, Austin Fugate and Hope Helm. Austin had to work yesterday, so wasn't able to make any passes, so his dad, Vic, qualified the boat for him yesterday and did a pretty doggone good job. Currently sitting number 7 right now at 8:13. Austin driving the biggest crush out of Fort Worth, Texas. Tony Henry Racing Engines, Electro Freeze. Two guys, Marine and Fugate Construction and Epic Boats. He'll be on the left-hand side, and Hope Helm driving Liquid Assets, being the Performance HVAC right-hand side for Parker Brothers Racing, Honeysuckle Legal Group, Performance HVAC, LD Solutions, Texas Rocks, 360 Angus Ranch, Triple K Cattle Company, Liberty Homes, Carey, and the key team, Providence Realty. Austin Fugate goes 8:09 with a 0, 103.60 miles an hour. Hope Helm goes 9:25.7, 84.59 miles an hour with a 1:15 reaction time for Hope. It's a pretty good light. She's got probably less than 20 laps in that boat that's been sitting in the barn waiting for her for the past 10 years or so. It's good to see her out there in that thing. And Austin Fugate, 8:09 with a 0, 103 miles an hour. So that'll move him up to the number 7 qualifying position. And Hope will go to number 11. As Mike King and Gavin Snyder come up now. Mike driving borrowed Miller time. Out of Coetta, Oklahoma. I believe is the way Perch told me to say it. Driving for Tailwinds Inspection, William R. Gaddis Insurance, Brady Sassy Style, Bent Creek Dozer Service, Spangler's Wheat Farm, and Window Tinting. Apex Custom Round, special thanks to the wife and the family. And a very special thanks to Matt Miller and Robert Anderson. Mike King will be over in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane. And Gavin Snyder driving 6 to midnight will be in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. For Rio Medina Truck and Auto, Rio Fab and Welding, Lilly Construction, Custom Powder Coating, Four-Way Bar, Damon Decker, and 212 Athletics. Special thanks to Uncle Jimbo and Aunt Sue for the motor and transmission. With Gavin Snyder over in the right, Matt King over here in the left. Mike King goes 9:06 with a 7 at 87.62 miles an hour. Gavin Snyder 8:03 with a 2 at 112.60 miles an hour, and that'll put Gavin Snyder in the number 3 qualifying spot, right behind Josh Hansen and Jesse James Jr. Final call for Pro Eliminator. Final call Pro Eliminator to the ramp. I also need Quick Eliminator. Quick Eliminator, I need you to the end ramp as well, please. Pro Jet, be on standby, and Pro Comp Flats, get them warmed up. Quick Eliminator, be making your way to the end ramp, please. First pair of top eliminator coming up now. Bill McGuinn, driving No Clue, will be in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane. Currently number 7 right now. Special thanks to Larry Flores, Kevin Foote, Dave Lipinski, and the crew chief Peggy Owens. Also Kenny Myers, Joe Shefflow, and Ron McCullough. Driving Flat Rat out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, being the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. Your number 6 qualifier with a 741. Bill, a 747, his best pass. 7.00 is the index here in Top Eliminator. about a 706. I'm sorry, I bit my lip. 706 with a 1, 113.49 miles an hour for Bill. He goes all the way up to the number 2 spot. Ron McCullough goes 733 with a 4 at 112.73 miles an hour. That's his best run of the weekend, and he moves up to the number 5 spot. So a couple of improvements right there. First pass of top eliminator here in Q3. After this, there will be one more session of qualifying. We will run one elimination round for a couple of our larger classes. We can knock it down for tomorrow. Bill McGuinn, a nice step up all the way up to the number 2 spot. Jerry Branham still sitting number 1 with a 7:04.7, 110 miles an hour as he battles George Goff for the 2021 High Points Championship here in Top Eliminator. Speaking of George, he's currently number 9 on the qualifying sheet right now, which is very, very uncharacteristic of George Goff. But he has not been able to get that boat to slow down so far this weekend. He made 3 passes yesterday, 2 qualifying attempts and a test pass. And George is just such a good flat bottom driver that he just can't help. He doesn't know how to drive it to slow it down. He said, all I know is to hold my foot to the floor. And that left pedal, he said that left pedal is his favorite part. With George Goff and Jerry Branham are fighting tooth and nail for this championship. Both of them been trading blows back and forth all year long. It seems like George Goff's been winning every race he shows up to, and Jerry Branham's been runner-up at every one of them. So they have just been trading back and forth for that High Points Championship. It's all going to come to a head tomorrow, as after tomorrow we will have our 2021 champions decided, as the next pair gets pulled to the hold rope. Here comes Justin Stewart. Stewie driving for his wife, Ashley. Twins, Jackson and Stella's. Beautiful daughters, Tori and Sydney. Special thanks to Stephen and Renee with Brady Truck Service. Bob York, Bill Diaz, Daniel, and Candace. This is Justin Stewart. I believe this is a license pass for him, a full track license pass that he is hoping to turn into a qualifying run right here for Stewie. All right, so Stewie had trouble getting the boat to fire. He ended up getting timed out, so we will start him up again. Second time's a charm there, Stewie. Countdown clock has started, and the boat is still not fired. There it goes. Well, it was started for a second. He's still got about 10 seconds till the countdown starts. Well, countdown is running and the boat's still not fired, so it's going to be another red light course. Stewie's still having trouble getting that boat to run. Well, maybe third time's the charm, Stewie. He is trying, but man, that boat is fighting him. There it goes. Now it's staying running. Hopefully I didn't jinx him. I don't believe in jinxes. What am I talking about? All right, Justin Stewart, countdown started. Yeah, Justin Stewart got it. 7:10 with an 8, 108.37 miles an hour. And that will turn into a qualifying pass. How about that? After having to start the boat 3 different times, he still goes 0.48 on the Christmas tree. You cannot rattle Justin Stewart. That was amazing. And the wingman just ran like it had wings all the way out the back door. 7:10 with an 8, 108.37 miles an hour, and he drove that thing about 1,500 feet instead of the 1,000 foot. He was just so happy that it finally started and ran. He said, I'm going to run this thing all the way to the next lake. As Bobby Thurman and the crap shooter come up, Parker Brothers Roofing, left-hand lane for Sambo's Logging, Thurman's Heating and Air, and Jerry Branham, the man who is currently battling George Goff for the points, driving back in black, the Performance HVAC right-hand lane out of Tyler, Texas. Currently your number 1 qualifier, Jerry Branham, and Bobby Thurman sitting number 3 right now on the sheet. Top eliminator, a lot of people, if you weren't breaking out, you were running way off of the index. So Bobby Thurman is number 3 right now and only mustered a 7:21 in qualifying. That beautiful purple crap shooter boat of Bobby Thurman and Jerry Branham, the slick, nice and clean, back in black boat. Final call, quick eliminator. Final call, quick eliminator. I need Pro Jet. Pro Jet, I need you to the in-ramp, please. Pro Jet to the in-ramp. Pro Comp Flats, be on standby. Pro Outlaw, get them warmed up. Final call, quick eliminator. Pro Jet to the in-ramp. Pro Comp Flats, be on standby. Pro Outlaw, get them warmed up. All right, so Gary Gray says go yellow. And Bobby Thurman and Jerry Branham fire the hot rods up. How about a 6.99 with a 3, 122 miles an hour for Bobby Thurman. He missed it by 7 thousandths of a second. Jerry Branham goes 7.066, 111.92 miles an hour. No improvement for him. Will stay in the number 1 spot. Bobby Thurman missed it by just that much. It was 0.22 on the Christmas tree as well. Jerry Branham turned it red. Doesn't matter here in qualifying. He was just finding his spot on the tree. Says, well, if I leave on this number, I'll go, okay, well, that didn't work. Go back and try it again. But Bobby Thurman, it was just 7 thousandths of a second away from being a really good run. Well, Bobby still got one more chance to find that 7 thousandths slower. I don't know if you put a few grains of sand in the bottom of the boat, weigh it down just a little bit, just a little bit. That's all he needs. That's Bob Winder and Wade Kokendorfer come up now. Kokendorfer driving classified information over the Performance HVAC. Right-hand lane for Smoke on the Water drag boat races. Farmers Insurance, Jetpack, and Ben Agnes Realty. And Bob Winder driving Mama's Diamond out of Lake Hills, Texas. Being the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane. Your number 7 and 8 qualifiers. Oh, Bob Winder got out of it right at the 8th mile. Wade Kokendorfer, 7:41.3, 106.85 miles an hour. Here comes Kevin Conklin and George Goff. Kevin driving Texas High Risk for Jim Burns. Kevin coming to us all the way from Midland, Texas. For Wayman Pittsford Incorporated, Tap Magic, KC Specialties, Diamond Jim, Henrik Motors, and Albert Fox. And George Goff driving Bad Magic out of Shoto, Oklahoma. For Performance HVAC, or in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. For Electro Freezer Texas, Tulsa Sheet Metal, the crew of Marsha, Todd, Trevin, and Rayleigh. Special thanks to the Electro Freeze Express crew, GW and Taryn Golf, the Flat Wicked crew. Also the crews of Fool's Paradise, Bruce and Bobby Wicker, Broken Arrow Powder Coating. Once again, Pro-Jet. I need you to the in-ramp, please. Pro-Jet, I need you to the in-ramp. Well, did George Goff get a slow down? No, he didn't. 696 with an 8 at 111 miles an hour. George Goff turned it 001 red, but goes 696. 111 miles an hour will stay in the number 10 spot. Kevin Conklin, 684 with a 3, 116.99 miles an hour. He will stay in the number 11 qualifying spot. So George Goff still fighting, getting that thing to slow down. Racers, fans, race crews, don't forget Trinity Racing Ministries chapel service tomorrow at 8 o'clock at the pavilion across from registration. Brother Mike Griffith going to bring the word of the good Lord above to us before we get ready to go drag boat racing at 8 o'clock in the morning at the pavilion across from registration, Trinity Racing Ministries chapel service. Matt Miller and Mike Ledford Jr. coming up. Matt Miller driving Miller time. Miller Excavation, Hub and Performance Smoke on the Water drag boat races. He was a little bit late getting to the ramp, so this is his top eliminator qualifying run. And Mike Ledford, he's going to be on a single actually. So Matt Miller driving Miller time, being the Parker Brothers Roofing at left-hand lane. They put a nitrous plate on that thing with just a little bit of a shot on it. Try to get that thing to speed up. It's only been 7:33 with a 9 in qualifying. Tow drivers, keep moving. Tow drivers, keep moving. Don't stop, please. Keep moving. How about Matt Miller? 7:36.9, 108.87 miles an hour. Hey, Josh Finnegan, I don't know what you did, but you didn't help. You slowed it down by 300, dude. What in the world? Yeah, we're blaming it on Josh. How about that? Sorry, KK. Matt Miller, 7:36.9, 108 miles an hour. Even after putting the nitrous to it, just got to throw a little bit more to it probably. if it even engaged. I don't know. And then a pro eliminator will be coming up now. Kevin Foote and Mike Ledford Jr. Kevin driving distraction. Parker Auto, Pirates Den, Sundance Resort, Fox's Floating Bar in Parker, Arizona. Kevin Foote currently your number 5 qualifier with his breakout 7:49.9 run from yesterday. Mike Ledford Jr. driving Dynamite out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Being the Performance HVAC right-hand lane for Keith Scroggin Racing Engines, Max Machine, ML Vending Company. Your current number 4 qualifier with only a 775. All right, Pro Cop Flats, on each to the end ramp. Pro Cop Flats to the end ramp. Pro Outlaw be on standby. Pro Mod be warming them up. About a 6:57.9, 130.29 miles an hour for Kevin Foote. Moves himself up 2 positions to the number 5 spot. Or to the number 1 spot, I'm sorry. Kevin Foote goes to the top. Mike Ledford Jr. out of the throttle way early, just about 50 feet past the starting line. And he goes 16.95 at only 36 miles an hour, as something definitely not right with the hot rod. Pro Comp Flat Bottoms, Pro Comp Flats to the end ramp. Pro Comp Flats to the end ramp. Here comes Ty Bolweg and Dave Lipinski. Dave out of Madeira, California. Special thanks to Jerry Feisler. Auto Machine Specialties of Fresno. Hands-on hydroponics. Hot Shot Racing would like to thank Jerry, Scooby, Ronald, and Mike for their help. And Dave Lipinski in the hot shot on his birthday goes 6:54.6, 125 miles an hour, and take back over the number 1 qualifying position. Ty Bolweg, 7:02 of the 3, 127.31 miles an hour. And Dave Lipinski, the birthday boy, goes back to the top spot. Here comes Mr. Jeff Bailey, the Grand Poobah of the Oklahoma Hot Boat Association. They had a race here just a couple of weeks ago in Stroud, Oklahoma, I do believe. Or maybe that race is coming up. Jennifer, if you're around, come tell me. Don't give me the dates, or I'll look it up in a minute. But everybody needs to support the Oklahoma Hot Boat Association, too. They do their races in Stroud, Oklahoma, just about 25, 30 minutes up the road. But Jeff Bailey driving Beer Budget out of Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Be coming up in the Parker Brothers Roofing at right-hand lane. Left-hand lane, I apologize. He'll be in the near side. Only been able to go 691.3. I don't really think he's leaning on that thing, though. But it's good to see Jeff Bailey out here. I haven't got a chance to go and find him in the pits yet. But I absolutely love me some Oklahoma Hot Boat Association. Love Jennifer and Jeff. They are fantastic people, and you need to go and support them at their outlaw drag boat races in Stroud, Oklahoma. And Jeff Bailey, how about 676.5, 112.40 miles an hour, move himself up to the number 3 qualifying spot. Jeff Bailey picks it up by a couple of tenths of a second, 676 at 112 miles an hour. That'll bring up quick eliminator, first pair. Going to be Smokey Freeman and Sambo Smith. Smokey's going to be over here in the Parker Brothers Roofing near lane. Driving Smoke on the Water out of Henrietta, Oklahoma for Gaines Racing. Henrik Excavation. Lennox Brothers Harvesting. Whiskey and Eggs, the OHBA. Sarah, James, Gary, and the gang. And Sambo Smith driving Sucker Punch over there in the Performance HVAC. Right-hand lane for Brazos Feed and Supply. Gary Payne, special thanks to Tony Scarlatta. GNC Machine, Russell's Body Shop, Thurman Heating and Air. And good old Sambo down from around the bayou state of Louisiana. He come up and told me, he's like, you know what, I don't live too far away from you. You know where Strong is? Yeah, I know where Strong is. He's like, hey, I'm right up in there. Like, okay, cool deal. I didn't know that there was another Cajun out here with me. And Smokey banging that thing off the rev limiter, goes 590 with a 0, 147.12 miles an hour. Not going to improve. Sambo Smith 611 with a 4, 137.92 miles an hour. That'll be his best run of the weekend to go up to the number 3 spot for Sambo. 078 red reaction time. How about Smokey Freeman cutting a tree down at 040? He goes 590 with a 0, almost 150 miles an hour in an open boat. And he is so crazy. Here comes Tommy the Lunchbox Rice and Robert Anderson. Tommy Rice driving the Electro Free Special for Bruce and Bobby Wicker and David Carroll Racing. Huge thank you to the crew. He'll be over in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane, and Robert Anderson driving Mutual Funds. Rub and Performance, Jeff Gibson Insurance, Task Construction. He'll be over in the Performance HVAC right lane. old. Tommy Rice, 134 on the tree and goes 6:15.0, 149.49 miles an hour. Not going to improve on a 6:03 from yesterday. Robert Anderson goes 6:02 with a 5, 125.90 miles an hour. And Robert Anderson goes to the number 2 spot, right behind Mr. Ken Jenkins, the points leader himself. Final call, Pro Cop Flats. Final call, Pro Cop Flats. I need Pro Outlaw. Pro Outlaw needs to the end ramp. Pro Outlaw to the end ramp. Pro Modified, be on standby. Top Alcohol Flats, get them warmed up. Pro Outlaw, I need you to the end ramp, please. Here comes Bill Miller and Robert Ledbetter. Robert driving for Ray Males here this weekend. He's driving Blue Thunder over in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. Ray is recovering from shoulder replacement surgery. And Ray, I know that you're here and watching on. I know this is tough for you, buddy, but we're glad you're here. Hope your recovery is going perfectly. And we'll see you back out in Phoenix, hopefully. But Robert coming to us out of Owasso, Oklahoma for Landing's own Booger Reds, Ghost Rider Saloon, the Country Club, Dr. Feelgood. Special thanks to Mama Cheryl, the crew, and Hanson Racing Engines. And Bill Miller driving the Rebellious Winch for Philip Kirkland out of Taylor, Texas. And Bill Miller, we were talking at the hotel last night. I told him, I was like, Bill, you do realize that the back of your boat likes to wiggle a lot down top end of the track, right? And he goes, no, I don't feel it. He said, my butt's so puckered up, I don't care what the butt of the boat does. he said that might help the tune-up, though. I'm glad you told me. And but yeah, it scares me down there a little bit. And everybody's like, Colton, why do you wince so much whenever those boats move around like that? And I told him, I said, because I've seen the compilations of drag boat, accidents on YouTube, and I don't want to ever see anything like that in real life. So I do. I wince, and it scares me a little bit. But that's because I want all these competitors to be safe, and I care about each and every one of them. But here comes Robert Ledbetter and Bill Miller. Bill Miller, how about 589 with a 0, 144.74 miles an hour. It didn't wiggle either, so I guess the wiggle is what slows it down just a little bit. Bill Miller, 589. But how about Robert Ledbetter, 582 with a 3, 140.62 miles an hour, and Ray Mel's Blue Thunder. Oh, man. He had qualified with a best of 656, stepped up big time, goes 582. So, hey, Ray, somewhere there in the middle is the happy spot. Wow. These guys going 5 seconds to the 1,000-foot in an open boat. Yeah, you got to be crazy. Somebody get them a wheelbarrow. Some of you get the joke, some of you won't. Final call, Pro Outlaw. Final call, Pro Outlaw. I need Pro Modified. Pro Modified, I need you to the end ramp, please. Pro Mods to the end ramp. Alcohol Flats, be on standby. Alcohol Hydro, get them warmed up. Pro modified and each to the end ramp, please. Here comes Ken Jenkins and Larry Flores. Ken, your current points leader, driving through the fire over in that Parker Brothers Roofing at left-hand lane. Hey, Jeremy Parsley, where are you at? Are you awake yet, dude? Jeremy Parsley's coming over to play in the water here this weekend. I'm glad he's here. Glad I got to see him yesterday. Glad you're a part of the Southern Drag Boat Association, my brother. And Larry Flores over in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane, driving Hydroclimatic out of Las Cruces, New Mexico. For Pine Top Construction, Dynamic Racing Engines. He'll be over in the right lane. Whoa! So Ken Jenkins is your number one qualifier. He goes 6.06 with a 3, 147 miles an hour. Not an improvement. Larry Flores goes 6.20 with a 3 at 131. No improvement for him either. Ken Jenkins, your number one qualifier with a 6.02. And he is sitting atop of the points in Quick Eliminator right now with just a few people breathing down his neck for that number one championship spot. So I believe that'll leave us with Pro Comp Flats being pulled to the hold rope. Sam Nazy coming up now. I believe what might be our final quick eliminator boat. He'll be in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane, driving Critical Mass, your current number 7 qualifier at 6:35. It'll be a single in the near lane of the racetrack. About 6:22.5, 132.38 miles an hour. He improves his elapsed time, but not his qualifying position. He will stay number 7, but a 6:22.5, nice step up for Sam Nazy. Leo Renke and Pat Hobbs, first pair of Pro Jet. Don't know if Tim Ortiz is out there or not, so this might be our only pair of Pro Jet. Tim Ortiz is currently your number 1 qualifier. Leo driving a fast one over here on the left side. And Pat Hobbs driving Manufactured Money over in Performance HVAC, right-hand lane. For Hobbs Motorsports, Hobbs Manufactured Homes, C&D Mechanical, Huffman Performance, Morgan & Son Racing Engines. Pat Hobbs number 2, Leo Renke number 3. Pat Hobbs goes 4:03 with a 1, 135.74 miles an hour. Leo goes 4:19.3, 129.11. Pat Hobbs, that's a nice run for him. Not as good as his 4:02 from yesterday. That is Leo's best run of the weekend, 4:19.3 and 129.11. And Sarah Dollar, all you have to do is tell me how to pronounce it. I'm very, very good at taking advice, I promise. Here we go, Pro Cop Flats, Milton Tolan, Flat Magic. We'll be over in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand side. And I don't know if Milton's actually driving the boat. I don't think so. I think it might be Tim Ortiz. All right, so it is Milton Tolan out of Jacksonville, Florida, over here on the left side, and Randy Reynolds It's only money. Yeah, it is. And that stuff's harder and harder to come by these days. The Performance HVAC right-hand lane. Randy's going to be dialed 637. Milton going to be dialed 655. And Randy Reynolds goes at 639 on the 637. That'll put him in the number 1 qualifying spot. Randy Reynolds at 127 miles an hour. Knocks Milton Tolan off the top spot. Milton goes to number 2, 663.8, 118 miles an hour. And I do believe Tony Scarlatta was actually number 1. So Milton knocked him down to 3rd, went 2nd, and Randy Reynolds went to the top. 0.25 red reaction time for Randy Reynolds. And Randy really lets that front end get way up there. And it'll bobble a couple of times, and it scares me to death every time. But Randy knows how to drive the hot rod. Milton Tolan was 0.76 red, goes 663 at 118. Still one of my favorite classes in drag boat racing, but it gets my heart pumping. I guess that's why I like it so much. It's because these guys are the true, real drivers. Not that everybody else in drag boat racing can't drive, but these guys, I'm telling you, there's something special about them. And here comes Tony Scarlatta and Andy Comstock. Scarlatta over here in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane, driving Fool's Paradise out of Locust Grove, Oklahoma for the Electro Freeze. That's Bruce and Bobby Wicker's company. Huge thank you to them. They do a lot of support for a lot of these race teams out here, so huge thank you to Bruce and Bobby Wicker. Hopefully you guys are either here or watching on Racer H2O. Malone Diesel, Steve, Kathy, and Sam Malone. Special thanks to his sponsors and the Georgian GW Golf, and David Merchant. And Andy Comstock driving Whiskey Tango in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane for ACDC Electric, Salon Elements. The pit crew of Chase, Tony, and Dan. 651 the dial for Andy Comstock, 601 the dial for Tony. And Tony Scarlatta goes 6:07 with an 8, 125.94 miles an hour. Will stay in the number 3 spot. Andy Comstock, 6:56.5, 120.97 miles an hour. And he will be your number 2 qualifier now. So Tony took back over the number 3 spot, or went to 3rd. Andy went to 2nd, pushed Tony back down 1. Milton Tolan goes to 4th. So nice passes for both Tony and Andy here in Pro Comp Flats. Our next pair being pulled up and ready to go. I believe that's going to be GW Golf over there in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. And possibly Dylan Crownover, I believe, over here in the left. So it's going to be Dylan Crownover. Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand lane, driving Bad Company 2 out of Granite Shoals, Texas for Grandma and Grandpa, J&M Kinsey Plumbing and Crown Over Fence and Welding. Going to give another huge congratulations to Dylan and his girlfriend Alicia on their engagement. So now they are fiancé. GW Golf over there in the Electro Freeze Express. The Performance HVAC right-hand lane out of Catoosa, Oklahoma. For Bruce and Bobby Wicker of Electro Freeze of Texas. GW, your points leader in Procon Flats. He's dialed 672. Dylan Crownover dialed 640. As soon as they give Gary Gray the thumbs up, he'll give the go yellow signal. And I see capsule boats being pulled to the hold rope. All right, the yellow signal given by starter Gary Gray. GW on the right, Dylan Crownover on the left. How about GW Golf? 0:29 reaction time. It goes 6:75.5, 123 miles an hour. And GW Golf goes to the number 2 qualifying spot. Dylan Crownover, 6:40.67, 122.46 miles an hour on that 640 dial. That'll put him in the number 4 qualifying spot. So Tony Scarlatta's already been knocked down to number 5. Randy Reynolds remains your number 1 qualifier. It goes GW Golf, Andy Comstock, Dylan Crownover, Tony Scarlatta, Milton Tolan, David Merchant, Larry Skiro yet to run here in Pro Comp Flats. And it is going to be Larry Skiro over here in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand side. Driving flat nasty. And I believe that might be David Merchant over there on the right side. Yep, David Merchant driving flat wicket over there in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. Special thanks to Bruce and Bobby Wicker of Electro Freeze, George GW Golf, and his beautiful wife, Dawn, and Larry Skiro at Highland Haven, Texas. The Blue Water Irrigation and Landscape Supplies, Blue Water Nursery, John and Pat Heineke, Your Signature Salon, Wake Point LBJ, Charlotte Cormier with Lake Life Experience. If that's not Cormier, it's Cormier in Louisiana, I'm just saying. Tony Pippinger, Highland Lakes Watercraft, his wife Julie, Austin and Ashland. Of course, Julie and Ashland not here this weekend. Ashland cheering at a hometown football game. You guys are watching along on Racer HBO. We miss you guys. Wish you guys were here. So final pair of Pro Comp flat bottoms. 698 the dial for David Merchant, 651 for Larry Skiro. Larry Larry Skiro, how about 682.9, 116 miles an hour. The boat didn't run like Larry wanted it to. David Merchant, 699 with a 6, 115 miles an hour. And David Merchant goes to the number 1 qualifying spot. He was down 698, goes 699, 115 for the number 1 spot. It was 0009 red. Missed it by 9/10 thou. Larry Skiro, 055 red. 682 on that 651, 116 miles an hour. I thought I heard it popping when it got about to the 8th mile. Might have had something to do with it. I don't know. I'm no crew chief. But something didn't sound right. Larry Skiro's hot rod as it went 652 in qualifying yesterday. So something definitely not right. But that rounds out Pro Comp Flats. And that'll bring us into our capsule boats. First up, it'll be Pro Outlaw. So our first pair of Pro Outlaws is going to be Eric DeMint and Rick Blethroad. Eric driving the real bad boy out of Luling, Texas, over here in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand side. And yeah, I know, the whole list of sponsors, we'll get to that later on. But Eric DeMint has a very, very special guest hanging out with him and his team this weekend, Steve Miller, who has been to Afghanistan twice and risked his life for the safety of our country. Him and his entire family are here this weekend, so we applaud you. We thank you for your service to the great United States of America. So glad that you're enjoying the drag boat races. And brother, from the bottom of my heart, I very, very much appreciate what you have done for all of us. And I know we as Americans take it for granted way too much and don't give near about as much thanks as we should. So thank you for being here. Thank you for what you've done. And hope you and your entire family have a great weekend. And Rick Blethroad driving the wild thing out of Odessa, Texas. Going to be in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. That twin turbo, 521 cubic inch Hemi. Over there on the right-hand side, Rick Blethroad gracing our Hunter's Showdown event T-shirts this weekend. I do believe we have a couple of more of those left. So go see Emily. I believe, well, she must have somebody else doing it. I think Emily's at the out ramp. Somebody is selling event T-shirts, I know. So while they still last, you need to go and get one. Matt Miller, of course, on it as well. Rick Blethroad going to be over there on that right side. And whenever this thing fires up, you're not going to be able to hear it fire up until the countdown clock goes to 5 seconds, and then he's going to start building that boost. And the crazy thing is if you ever get a chance, seriously, go back and talk to Rick and look at this boat up close. Everything on this boat, Rick did it himself. And it's really, really special, really unique. And he is driving for Alliance Machine, AAA RV, Lone Star Gasket, Full Throttle Racing Collectibles. Rick has been 537 in qualifying yesterday. Eric DeMint went 538 in the first round of qualifying, then came back and went 513 in the second one. The weather has been playing tricks with all these capsule boats here this weekend. A lot of people, like in Pro Mod, especially, only a couple of boats running toward the lower end of the 560 range. As we are going yellow, and we are going to kick off our pro boat categories, round number 3 of qualifying with Eric DeMint and Rick Blethroad. How about Eric DeMint? He shut it off a little bit early. He goes 5:63, 166 miles an hour. And Eric DeMint goes to the number 1 qualifying spot. Rick Blethroad 5:31, 179 miles an hour out of that twin turbo boat. That thing is absolutely cooking the bacon at the top end of the racetrack. 179 miles an hour from Rick Blethroad. But Eric DeMint, your new number 1 qualifier, an 087 reaction time and a 5:23, 166 miles an hour. And Steve Miller, that one was for you, my brother. And I just got word from Jennifer Bailey, the Route 66 shootout in Stroud, Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Hot Boat Association, will be September 11th and 12th. Oklahoma Hot Boat Association puts on a great show, so go and support Jennifer and Jeff Bailey, the Oklahoma Hot Boat Association, for the Route 66 shootout, September 11th and 12th. Top alcohol flat bottoms, top alcohol flats, need to the in-ramp, please. Top alcohol flats to the in-ramp. Alcohol hydro be on standby. Personal watercraft, get them warmed up. Here comes Teresa Ward and Cody Childress. Teresa on the left side of the racetrack driving Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. And Cody Childress driving Bad Influence for Nestle Only Racing, Travis Tuttle, Brad Anderson Enterprises, Linco Transmissions, RBS Superchargers. Special thanks to Travis, Mama Judy, Robin Reed, Dustin Nestle Only, Kendra, and the boys. Here we go. And Cody Childress, 5:22.5, 171 miles an hour, and 3 runs is all they needed to go to the number 1 qualifying spot. Teresa Ward, 5:26.2, 173 miles an hour, and she goes to the number 3 spot behind Eric DeMint. So Cody Childress, with that former top alcohol hydro boat that he will be running in alcohol hydro in Phoenix, is what I'm hearing, goes 5:22.5. He went 470-something the first pass, 490-something the second pass, and then slows it down and is able to go 520 and take over the number 1 qualifying spot. That shows Travis Tuttle, Cody Childress, that entire team knows exactly what they're doing. Our final Pro Outlaw boat is going to be Steve Carter. Money for nothing. For Carter Paint and Body, Covey Performance, Wolf Auto Machine, MTR Performance, PPG 3M, Mickey's Toy Box, B Spoke Coatings, IMP, and special thanks to Randy Ball. He went $5.99 yesterday. Got to speed it up to a $5.20, but this is the first time that that boat has been out in a long, long time. Steve Carter, no stranger to the Liquid 1,000 foot. Former top fuel hydro driver himself. He's been around this stuff a long time. Still got his quick eliminator boat. I was told earlier he'll probably never get rid of that thing. But you can definitely tell that Steve Carter owns a paint and body shop, because look at how gorgeous that boat is. Is currently sitting number 6 at the bottom of the sheet. Just made a nice little clean A to B run in the 5-second zone yesterday. Now he's got to come and step it up. He's got to be better than Cody Childress' 5:22.5 in order to take the number 1 qualifying spot. After this, we will go into Pro Modified. All right, so here we go. Steve Carter. Capsules down. Hit it. Well, it started wagging a tail, and he stepped off of it. Nice choice, my friend. 560 with a 0, 143 miles an hour. That'd be a good run in Pro Mod. 560 with a 0, 143.93. Out of it really early. Hey, so all you Pro Mod guys, that's all you have to do. Just do that. You'll be good to go. 560 0, 143.93. And Steve Carter improves in the lapse time. No improvement in qualifying position. And then Pro Mod will be coming up, and I do believe it's going to be Mad Max, Daryl Ehrlich, and Robin Reed, first pair out. Going to give just a few minutes. Yep, that's what it's going to be. Robin Reed, wound too tight. Will be in the Parker Brothers Roofing, left side of the racetrack out of Arlington, Texas. For two guys in Marine out of Del Rio, Texas Outrigger Boats, CCR Fiberglass and Marine, NGK Spark Plugs, Fun and Sun Boats and Tackle, and Trinity Racing Ministries. He's your number 8 qualifier with only a 578. And Daryl Mad Max Ehrlich, driving out of reach for Paw Doug Mater in the Performance HVAC right lane out of Round Rock, Texas. Special thanks to Daryl's Equipment, Daryl and Angie, Chris, Randall, Yvonne, Angela Mack, George's Bar and Grill. He is number 1 in points right now by 6. 6 points out in front. And that could be changed even after qualifying. He is number 5 right now at 572. Your number 1 qualifier, I believe, still Tim Ortiz at 562. So as soon as they are ready to go and they give Gary Gray the thumbs up, we'll fire them up and find out what these guys learned yesterday and what these guys have got for today. Top alcohol flats, final call, top alcohol flat bottoms. I need top alcohol hydro. Top alcohol hydro to the in-ramp, please. Alcohol hydro to the in-ramp. Personal watercraft, be on standby. Stock eliminator, be warming them up. Top alcohol hydro to the in-ramp, please. All right, so here's Robin Reed and Daryl Mad Max Ehrlich trying to go for the number 1 qualifying spot. They both been 554, 578 for Robin Reed, and 572, 575 for Mad Max. 5 seconds left. .562 with a 1 for Robin Reed. He goes to the number 2 spot right behind Tim Ortiz by 1/1000th of a second. Mad Max goes 562.7, 160.62 miles an hour, and he goes right to the 3rd spot behind Robin Reed. So it goes like this: 562.0, 562.1, 562.7, and 562.9, the top 4 spots in Pro Modified. Oh, and Mad Max was 038 on the tree. Robin Reed was 098. Just saying. If that would have been a real race, it would have been 12 feet at the finish line in favor of Mad Max Daryl Ehrlich. That was awesome. 562.1, 562.7. Mad Max is 038, and Robin Reed is 098 on the Christmas tree. Been a heck of a race. Here comes Lee Warren and Sean Reed. Lee Warren, say win out of Marble Falls, Texas. The Parker Brothers Roofing, left-hand lane. Thanks to Steve Monroe with Buffalo Wild Wings of Yukon, Matco Tools, Steve and Leslie Pruitt for the motor, Scott and Beth Douglas, KPE Racing, Daryl and Doris Bledsoe, Brian Jones and company, Swan Pipelines, and Megan's mom and dad, and Sean Reed driving top secret out of Puyallup, Washington in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. Somebody asked Sean, hey, Sean, do you have a specific reason for being here in El Reno? He said, I just came to mess everybody up in the points. That's one thing. Sean Reed is one of the most passionate guys that I've ever seen sit behind the wheel of a drag boat. And he is currently your number 5 qualifier at 570 with a 2. Lee Warren has only been able to do a 581 with a 5 as his best run. Sean Reed has a very, very consistent boat. He went 571.8 first time, 570 with a 2 the second run yesterday. And it was the kind of the same story with Robin Reed. He just needed to find somewhere in the middle. Sean Reed has to find a little bit, and hopefully it's in the middle of that just right and too much. Well, we saw great improvement out of Mad Max's hot rod as well. So Sean Reed is hoping that the trend continues for him. And Tim Ortiz, when he rocketed to the top in the first qualifying session yesterday, he said, I did it because Sean Reed's here. And I told him that I was coming for him. And he did. So Sean Reed and Lee Warren, as soon as rescue is ready, as soon as the drivers are ready, we'll turn them loose here at the Hunters Showdown in El Reno, Oklahoma. Oh, and all of the Pro Mod drivers can start getting scared now because Sean Reed did confirm with me yesterday he will run the entire SDBA season in Pro Modified next year. All right, countdown clock at 10 seconds. How about 567 with a 4, 163 miles an hour for Sean Reed. And Lee Warren goes 566 2, 160 miles an hour. Sean Reed actually goes down a position. Him and Lee Warren swap. Lee Warren goes to 5th. Sean Reed goes down to 6th. With an 0:19 reaction time for Lee Warren. These guys are killing the Christmas tree today, getting ready for their first round of eliminations coming up later on this evening. So nice run, nice and smooth for both Sean Reed and for Lee Warren. That'll bring up our next pair. I believe it's going to be Henry Bainey and Brian Miller. Henry over there in the Performance HVAC, right-hand lane. And Brian Miller driving Jokers Wild over here in the Parker Brothers Roofing, left-hand lane. Out of Bluffdale, Texas, that 402 cubic inch LS small block with turbos. It's an awesome piece of machinery. For XS Speed & Marine, AP Manufacturing, Mixer Centers, Pack Rat, and BDR Extreme. And Henry Bainey out of Burton, Texas, for Ranch King, Trailer Wheel and Frame, American Brick and Stone, Gomez Landscaping, Rick Heidel, Tad's Cajun Seafood, and College Station. And we love you, Mama Alice. Hope you're watching at home on Racer H2O. Henry called me over to his pit yesterday, and he goes, "Why didn't you announce me today?" And I said, "Because I didn't get the chance to, because you tore up your stuff." And he said, "No, Tim Rester tore up my stuff." I said, "Don't blame it on Tim." I said, you were in the motorhome asleep on the couch because that's your pre-race ritual, right?" He said, "Absolutely I was." And I told him that I was going to wake him up this morning, but I didn't, because I'm a nice person like that. But Henry Bainey, it is good to see him back out here. He had a wild, wild ride in Marble Falls, Texas just a couple of weeks ago. If you get a chance, go to Henry Bainey, go to the Don't Blink Facebook page. He has the pictures posted up there. It is absolutely amazing, and just by the grace of God that he did not crash that boat that day, and we are all so thankful. Henry Bainey come up and talked to me a little bit after that, and he said, "I don't know how." He said, "Wait, yeah, I do know how. God had his hand of protection on me, and that's what he prays for every time he goes into the water." It was absolutely amazing that he is back out here and racing again, and that just shows the love of the sport. Because a normal person that's just doing this for fun, that would have scared them to death, and they would have gotten out of it. But Henry Bainey's been doing this all his life, and it's the love of his life. Besides Carol, of course, the second love of his life. So Henry's back out here. He'll be alongside that amazing LS small block with the twin turbos and Brian Miller. Personal watercraft, I need you to the in-ramp, please. Personal watercraft to the in-ramp. Stock eliminator, be on standby. Modified eliminator, get them warmed up. So once again, personal watercraft, needs to the in-ramp, please. So, Jimmy Todd with Rescue gives us the green light on the course. Gary Gray gives us the yellow signal from the starting barge. So Henry Bainey is not qualified. He is qualified down in 12th. Does not have a run that counts toward qualifying, so he is down at the bottom of the sheet. Brian Miller went 5:71.9 yesterday for the number 7 qualifying spot. Definitely looking to better that here. So whenever he closes the capsule, Brian Miller will go up on the two-step and start building boost with those turbos. Here we go. Henry Bainey, 577.2, 152 miles an hour. He goes up 2 positions to the number 10 spot. 581.1, 153 miles an hour for Brian Miller. Not an improvement, slows down by a tenth. He will stay number 7. Henry jumps up a couple of positions, gets him a nice run, nice soft run. So pull him up a couple of positions in qualifying. He still has one more chance to better that coming up later in the 4th session of qualifying before we go into round 1 of eliminations. So Ron Chevrolet going to be coming up in the Parker Brothers Roofing left-hand side. Driving that boat for Jimmy Parsons. I believe this is another license attempt that he hopes to turn into a qualifying pass. Driving Domestic Disturbance for Blue Line Patriot Heating and Air out of Blanchard, Oklahoma. Chopper Hopper Saloon. Steve Pools out of Oklahoma City. Woodman's Equipment out of Michigan. Diesel Machine out of Oklahoma City. Special thanks to Todd Haas, Danny Day, Bob Ginther, and the crew. So unless Ron passes the full track license run, I will not be able to tell you what he runs. Ron's all excited, though. He was over here earlier just really excited and really glad to be back in a boat again. Said it's been too long. He said you have that itch a lot. He said and it's really nice whenever you finally get to relieve it and go racing. All right, so Ron getting into position, making sure that he'll be able to grab that capsule and pull it down. Soon as Jimmy Todd and our amazing rescue team here at the Southern Drag Boat Association give us a green light, we'll fire him up and send him. All right, yellow signal given by Gary Gray. Ron Chevrolet fires Jimmy Parsons hot rod up. Countdown clock running. The heartbeat starts going up for Ron Chevrolet. He is trying to get qualified here for Pro Modified at the Hunters Showdown in El Reno and trying to get his license in the process. Closes the capsule. Let's see. Well, he's got his license. And he went 5:42 with a 5 at 157 miles an hour for Ron Chevrolet. Yeah, he said that they needed to hop it up just a little bit more. Well, they did. Jimmy Parsons, that thing was on a string, and it was fast, brother. 5:42.5, 157 miles an hour, and that'll put him right at the bottom of the sheet because I do believe that's the quickest pass we've seen in Pro Mod this weekend. That was outstanding. And now it's going to be Mallory Carroll and Tim Ortiz. Mallory driving a little more therapy in the Parker Brothers Roofing. Left-hand side out of Burnett, Texas for WCR Construction. Electro Freeza, Texas, RFC, RASP. Special thanks to Gary Watson, Mom and Dad, and Todd and Ella Haas. She is number 4 right now at 562.9. She is up amongst that cluster of 562s that sits at the top of Pro Modified right now. And the person who is sitting at the top with the best 562 is Tim Ortiz, driving Pat Kinsey's Empty Pockets. Pat and Tim coming to us out of Conroe, Texas for Pat Kinsey Drywall, Race Engine Development. Special thanks to Rhonda for allowing them to continue to race. And a huge thank you to Doug Ivy, Archie Nelson, and Kevin Cook. Tim will be in the Performance HVAC right-hand lane. Tim definitely going to try to snug up that number 1 position in a boat that is for sale. Pat Kinsey said it's for sale. It ain't on sale. And I can promise you he will sell it to you just as it sits in the water right now, and you can go out there and start winning races with that thing. But Pat said, don't worry, we're not getting out of drag boat racing. We just got a new Pro Mod boat. And we don't need this one. So if you're interested, go see Pat Kinsey. I know he'll talk to you about buying it. Stock Eliminator needs you to the end ramp, please. Stock Eliminator to the end ramp. Modified Eliminator be on standby. Top Eliminator, get them warmed up. Stock Eliminator to the end ramp, please. One more quick check of the racetrack. Make sure the shutdown area is clear. And probably the most impressive thing that I have seen all weekend long is yesterday when the wind was a little bit choppy down there in the shutdown area. David Carroll told Mallory, he said, okay, what I want you to do